What's going on, guys? It's Brian here with Sinister Gaming. Just wanted to showcase my Chimera Fiendsmith deck I took to locals and got first place with. So I'm gonna break it down more of like engine or engine by engine, since we have quite a few mixed in together with this deck. Fiend Smith engine's pretty cool just because they both the Chimera engine and the Fiend Smith engine bridge into each other, which I think is particularly nice compared to some of the other builds, just kind of like splashing it in just for the sake of the interruptions. But yeah, this deck can actually get you to one combo or the other by however you're going to start, and they mix pretty well. And yeah, worst case scenario, you can just make like a Caesar or something. And despite what some people say, even though we lost Appaloosa, I would actually argue this deck is in a better position than it was before, because I had a hard time playing around Appaloosa. So that's pretty nice. I think it's a really good pick into the format, and I pretty much 2-0'd everyone other than one Senpai matchup. So that was pretty good. We went to game 3 on that one. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start with some of the non-illusion starter / monsters. So we have the 3 Gazelle and the Baphomet. So I'm still playing the 2 Baphomet just because it's nice not having one vanish from like a Bestial or something, because a lot of the combo, especially like the way to bridge into the Chimera end from the Fiend Smith starting point, is gonna happen from you reborning this off a Muckracker. So you're gonna want to have 2 just in case that happens, or one gets Bestialed early on. So you have the option to dump the second, because you're not going to be able to bridge without this card. This is kind of like the heat connection piece, and I'll show you how later that happens with the Fiend Smith engine. And then Gazelle's still your 1 card full combo. It's the best starter. And then for the illusion monsters, we still are running the 3-3-3 for our starters. This is 1.5 card combo, and then these 2 are full combo. I mean, just they can either summon this can summon this, but you have to stop your Fiend Smith engine and pretty much all your other plays because you'll be locked into fusions. But ever since the introduction of this card, you kind of use Mirror Sword Knight at the end, and that's what I've been staying with. Just using this at the end unless I have to start with it. And then yeah, typically these are just gonna grab the Gazelle anyway, because you really want the Chimera fusion, so that's pretty good there. And then the Nightmare Apprentice, you still need to run 3 for the consistency. It is losing a little bit of value in my particular build, just because you'll see in the extra deck I'm not playing too many rank 6s, but you can still use it for other things. Like I am playing Chaos Angel in there, so that's a 6. Also Engraver 6. So there's, that's 2 ways to get to the Chaos Angel. And yeah, it just really facilitates a lot of plays and helps you OTK and stuff too, which I did do quite a bit with some of the extra deck cards. And then I'm just gonna go into the Fiend Smith package. So the package I'm running was somewhat minimal. This is probably the most optimized, just the 2-1-1. I was testing 3 in the beginning, but you don't really need to open this card. It's just, yeah, you don't need to open it, because I'm not playing Desiree in this build. I just think it's way too hard to achieve 3 lights sometimes. I feel like I'd rather just have either DDD or set up my line to my Chimera engine, and Desiree is just kind of like bonus. Even though it is nice having the Desiree send when you fuse it away with Guardian Chimera, because if it gets into the graveyard, you can shovel back a Fiend and send 1 card on the field to grave. So I really like that aspect, but I didn't really need it throughout the whole tournament, and I didn't miss it when I was first testing it. So yeah, this is perfect ratio. Lacrima doesn't affect it, so yeah, you mainly want to go through the Necroquip line with this engine, and I'll explain more how it gets it's a little bit more advantageous in like this deck compared to others. So there's that. For the other engine that I play, I think everyone kind of plays in the Fiend Smith build, is the Evil Hero engine. So it pretty much involves a Dusted Gold and the Sinister, along with the Dark Fusion. Some people don't play this. I think that's okay. You don't have to. It mainly only works when you draw this, and like half the time this is just gonna get fused away. I feel like if you open it with like nothing else, is the only way to get value from this card to search off of this is if you have like 2 other playable monsters that are gonna work really well. But opening this card and like Apprentice is really strong, so that's cool. Because this gives you just banish this from your grave and it summons this from the deck, which gives you your entire Fiend Smith line since this is a light fiend. So these cards are really strong, especially the Shadow. It got Bestialed once, which wasn't a big deal because you can go to Closed Moon and all that stuff. I did use the Dark Fusion once to fuse, but I didn't need to. It was just like an extra poly at that point. For insurance, and the monsters can't be targeted that you summon with this, so you can summon the you can actually summon the Birth Event, the Mythical King, the Phantom Beast one. So this one, because he's a fiend. So that's pretty nice. Nothing really more to say about these cards. And then just for the last illusion monsters, I'm playing Master Tau and the Diabels still. The Diabels, I saw someone explain this on a separate video, another content creator. A lot of people have been posting good profiles I've been getting inspiration from. And I wouldn't have cut this anyway, but he just made a good point that the way this deck plays a little bit now is just kind of like, DDD, like protecting High King Wave Caesar, just because it's like the new boss monster kind of for this deck, minus your standard fusion setup. So as long as you can get like one negate off of that card, I feel like you're in a really good spot, because the rest of this end board just is really good. Okay, and the next package we have is the Edgem package. So we have the 2, and I am playing 2 poly. So these typically do get sided out when I go second, like 1-1-1. Sometimes I'll keep it in both, depending on the matchup, because it's actually okay against shifter decks and stuff like that, because it helps you get access to Guardian Chimera to have like more cards in your hand for Guardian Chimera. And then yeah, this card's just really nasty. This whole deck basically only loses to Droll and a well-timed Ash if you have like absolutely nothing. So having this gives you like extension through like 1 or 2 interruptions on its own. So I'll take the risk over on Droll by playing this engine. So it's pretty nice, and you're always gonna have like, having a Fiend isn't as bad as it used to be in the past due to one of the monsters in your extra deck, which I'll be getting to pretty soon. So there's that. Getting to the spells, I'm playing 3 Chimera Fusion. This should never change in any Chimera deck, even the pure one. You should always be playing 3. Just for tagging out and everything, and then sometimes you'll play certain matchups where they can get banished, and it's gonna suck when that happens, when you lose access to them. I saw someone, I think it was MST TV, play this. It was just a Foolish Burial. It was a pretty good choice. It did help me quite a bit. So you have several options. You can send this, you can send Master Tau, you could send this if you don't have access to it immediately. You can send an Engraver if you're able to get to Light Fiend first. And then, yeah, you can just pretty much send all your illusion interruptions. Worst case scenario, you could send one of these. You could send this to Reborn off Muckracker. So it has flexibility. It's still considered engine, and I like to think of it as this being another 1-card starter, or 1.5, because you actually have to end up discarding. Most of these combos are like 1.5. You have to end up just having a card to discard. So yeah, you can just dump this, get to the Dusted Gold, and that's full Fiend Smith combo. and then you can just link away to Muckracker and reborn your bird from that by discarding a card. So that gives you all that full value there. And you can just use Master Tau at the end if you draw this with your regular combo. If you can't get to Master Tau, you can dump this to reborn on your following turn. Pretty much what it comes down to. It helps you get that final piece that you're missing in your end board or your combo, and it can be a starter, so it's pretty flexible there. I decided not to play monster hand traps. The only hand trap I'm actually playing is Imperm, just because I wanted to fit in some other techs that I wanted to play, and this was the only, since I'm not playing monster hand traps, this is the one that doesn't play into like talents or anything, so that's why I have it in here. And then maybe in games 2 and 3 my opponents will side out talents, so that's kind of good. And then just drawing this as a 6 card is pretty good too. I know that we don't have to do it with Appaloosa, but DDD High King Wave Caesar on the opposing end is pretty annoying, so this helps quite a bit. And then some other non-engines, mostly going to be spells. I have Called By, nothing really say there. It's going to be pretty much live all the time since I don't have hand traps in my main deck. We have 2 Talents. Talents is really strong because you can hand rip with your king, your main monster that you play. And like I said, this deck can play through hand traps pretty well. The one it just pretty much outright loses to is going to be Droll and possibly an Ash. Yeah, that's pretty much all that's gonna screw you over. So either ripping another card or just drawing 2, like you're gonna draw 2 into more monsters is pretty good too. Like let's say you brick like on a poly and you only had a 1 card starting engine, and you have like the 1 monster you started with and you have a poly, and you don't have those other monsters, this can get you to another monster to fuse with, and pretty much just sets up your full combo again. So that's cool too. And then most of the decks now end on a type of fiend or something, so when you steal you can fuse it away or do whatever you want with it, so that's nice too. The last card, so I'm playing like the last breakers, are 3 clips and 2 droplet. I'm only playing 2 droplet because I don't want to outright get bodied by shifter decks, and then like I don't really like discarding stuff from my field or sending from my field or sending from my hand with this card. It's kind of like a misconception that we get value from these cards. I feel like in branded or something, like this card's way better, but in this deck, like I don't want to send a Gazelle to get a search, because like we don't have like a branded fusion S card that's just like a 1 card full combo. We kind of need like 1 or 2 cards to play, and traditionally fuse with like polymerization with 2 monsters. So sending your monsters, you usually get no value, and it's actually like a -1. So you're usually always just using this to send in a response. You're almost never gonna send a monster unless you can afford to. And that's why we have the Imperm 2 to also work under Shifter a little bit more. And the Book of Eclipse is to break boards and helps you dodge like Imperm on your Gazelle if you don't have the fusion. And this saved me like maybe like 4 times. I played against the Exodia deck with like the new Millennium support, and I opened one, saved myself from an Imperm. In my middle of my combo, I drew 1 and I drew a second one of these. So then I set it, and then when I had my full combo, you know, I had my Mirror Sword Knight negate. So that Exodia monster, the new fusion, that negates 2. So I was gonna lose because he had also Spooky Dogwood in me, and he was about 14,000 or something in life points, and I had a Muckracker on board, so 1 attack would have ended the game there because that monster gains attack during the damage step of their life points. So I went Book of Eclipse, Chainlink 1, he went Chainlink 2 to negate this, and I went Mirror Sword Knight, Chainlink 3 to negate that, setting everything, and then, you know, not really much to do there, so you kind of just win. So this saved me quite a few times. I don't think I'd cut it. I mean, worst case scenario, this baits an Ash, and Ash is like what I mentioned was one of the main hand traps that could kill you, like on Mirror Sword Knight or Cornfield possibly. So worst case scenario, baits Ash. For extra deck, still playing these fusions. These are like the standard ones. I did summon this 1 or 2 times, and this is like how the apprentice helps you OTK, because you can attack on multiple monsters or the same one, and then just make them 0, and then that last apprentice can you know, finish the game for you for an extra 2,000 damage. So that did happen where I OTK'd, and this is actually a fiend, so you can use it to summon the DDD High King Wave Caesar. And then, yeah, of course, ripping one is going to be good, and it's a reborn. This reborn's banished, and these two kind of loop. So you can go, if you don't know, a standard play is banishing this to reborn one of your illusion monsters, like the Diabels, and you can banish this to reborn this from your banish zone. So that way you have your cornfield and your sword knight negates. So that's a pretty standard line of play that I think most people do. For some of the fusions, I'm just gonna go over the Fiend Smith parts and why like there's a little bit more value in having these fiends and the Fiend Smith engine now. So the Aerial Eater is the bridge to the Chimera engine or the Fiend Smith engine, but mainly the Chimera engine, dumping your big Berthomet. So there's a pretty much like, if you have no other way of comboing and you have none of your Chimera engine, you can still end on Big Wing Berthomet, your Fiend Smith combo, Gazelle in hand, and a Chimera fusion set. And you can pretty much, you'll be locked in a Fiend, so you can only summon this card after, but you can also just summon Guardian Chimera on your opponent's turn with those resources, and you'll actually be able to play. So it just, however you want to go about it. You can also fuse for this, and then, you know, dump one, get your ad from Gazelle, but you can't summon the apprentice. So you kind of like, you have a lot of options when you bridge between these two. It's a little hard to trigger the reborn effect just because we're not playing that many fiends with high levels. The only ones that we're playing is this one. You can't do this one. Yeah, we're not really playing that many fiends, so you pretty much have to banish Engraver and yeah, just basically Engraver. So, oh, and then the other target is this one too. So yeah, this is actually Life Fiend 2, which is super important for the deck, but I'll get into that right now. So you have only those 2 targets to banish, so it's kind of hard to reborn, but you mainly want to use it to dump. And then this is going to be part of your combo to get a second body. Pretty standard, just to like get the Engraver engraved with Requiem. And then yeah, the other 2 fusions, I'll play 1 Guardian Chimera. I never needed the second. Pretty simple there. We have different options to kind of break boards. Even like Engraver can just break a board by himself with Monster Send, so that's pretty cool. And then this card, you can use this to bridge into your Fiend Smith engine if you just strictly open like fusion cards. And you can also bridge with the moon, and you can also, if you're already doing your Fiend Smith combo, you can kind of get this for free if you start with your sequence. So I know I'm kind of going a little bit out of order, but all these cards are intersynced in some type of way. So a lot of the times when I comboed, I would have like the Chimera Fusion Quick Play spell, and you can actually activate this as Chainlink 1 to fuse for your Aerial Eater, and you can use this as Chainlink 2 to fuse into this using 1 monster from your hand. So that's pretty nice. That's how you get the second body for your Aerial Eater if you have your Engraver too. So I really just like the way everything bridges together in this deck, and this card is like an integral part of the combos now, which is pretty cool, because he was just kind of like chilling in the backseat prior to that, but now he has a little bit more action. You can like revive him and stuff more from your Big Wing Berthomet banish effect Engrave when you banish it off the Aerial Eater. So you can summon this, banishing 2, and then use this, banish it, and you can actually reborn this back as an interruption, so that's really nice too. If you guys want to see combos, I can also showcase those to the best of my ability. And then yeah, so just going to the links while we're getting into it. I'm playing these. This sometimes comes up. It pretty much just comes up when you get hand trapped really heavily. But if you need to, it's there. So I think I only used it like one or two times at the most. Most of the time, I'm honestly just bridging with the Evil Hero engine with the Adusted Gold, which is, yeah, somewhere around here. But yeah, I mainly bridge with the Adusted Gold like 80% of the time, but this comes up with the rest, so it's nice to have. It's an extra light monster also, or light fiend. And then like I said, sequence helps you make Aerial Eater, and that gets you to your full combo, and then you can also chain the fusion to get to the Magnum, the reliever. And then the Muckracker is an integral part of the combo too, since you reborn the Big Wing Berthmet, and then this is just used to break wards, and it's pretty nice as an interruption. Sometimes you can even banish your own cards to banish and reborn off of Big Wing Berthmet's Grave Effect on your opponent's turn to reborn from the banish, so you can kind of like choose your targets. And then the last two cards is Synchro Xyz. It's a nice diversity in there. And I mentioned earlier, I was already playing Chaos Angel. You can make it with this, Adusted Gold, Apprentice, and Mirror Sword Knight. So those are all really good options to do that. And you can, worst case scenario, get 2 banishes under like D-Barrier or something with Muckracker. So I just really like this play. He's a good tower and stuff like that too. And then this card's just really standard. If you have access to both engines and you don't need to do an Aerial Eater line, you make this and then you play. So that's pretty much it for that. For the side deck, I'm playing 3 Ash. I know I mentioned that I wasn't, I was talking about talents earlier, but this is mainly for, this is kind of like more for rogue decks and branded and stuff like that, and the mirror. So yeah, Ash is pretty good, and also good for like Labyrinth and stuff like that. So, and also it's really good against Tempai, especially since most of the time you can kind of out Sengen summoning now. So now you can just hold this for whatever. You could even just Ash Pydrift, like it doesn't really matter. So that's nice, and it works under Shifter. The other hand trap, I play this, the Nibiru, for like Ritual Beast to stop Protoss. Since I don't have to worry about Appaloosa, I just can just nip the Protoss and stuff. And it's pretty good against some rogue decks and stuff too. And then I'm playing Droll for like any Chimera, anything or that involves Fiend Smith, I'm gonna put this in against. Because for my luck, my opponents always open like really well in the sense of like a Fiend Smith Engraver plus their 1-card engine, which sometimes search like maybe a Nightmare Throne. So this just pretty much punishes my opponent for drawing better, for drawing like really good. And it'll be enough to slow them down. They'll just end on a really subpar board. And then I'm playing the Red Resonator. This is probably gonna come out, and I'm playing King Tiger Wanku. This is for like U-Bell and stuff like that. I never really got to test this since I went to game 2 only. I didn't go to game 3 for this. I didn't get to start with it, and I never went to time. So I play pretty fast with this deck, even though it can grind pretty well. But I'm probably gonna cut this. And then I'm just playing a little bit of removal. You could probably go for triple Cosmic if you want. I just want a little bit of diversity because some people are playing Runic and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much comes down to preference on Lightning Storm or Cosmic for this deck. And then the last card I'm playing is TC Boo for like just random decks and Tempai, and also works against U-Bell really well too. So that's pretty much it. Yeah guys, that is it. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, if you want to know combos about the deck, I'd be happy to showcase that to you guys. Just let me know in the comments below, and please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.